I thought it was all over.
What's up, y'all? This is Roll Coverage. I am your host, Nick McCandless. We're going to get into it after that gruesome loss to some big teams, to be honest with you. We are looking at the Panthers getting smoked at home. First home opener for Bryce Young to the car-led. Shouldn't say car-led at this point. I mean, the Panthers given win. And then obviously the Pittsburgh Browns game. What a game. So sad to hear about Nick Chubb. Big ups for you, man. You are amazing. We're big on you in fantasy this year. Obviously going to take a little bit of a hit on that, but to be honest, your health means more than fantasy ever will. So as always, Roll Coverage. We're always going to be pro player here. I'm always going to pick millionaires over billionaires. So for that, I will continue to support Nick Chubb. I think you're great, man. I can't wait for you to come back. A lot of people are going to say, oh, the guy behind you, whose name is escaping me. Give me a second. For some reason, I wanted to call him Tool, but that's not it. Sorry about that, guys. This is a relatively new setup I'm testing, so I'm trying to get stuff all around. But I'm going to start with that Browns game, to be honest. I got two topics up there. You can see them at the top when it comes to my Panthers, so we're going to talk all about them. I want to kind of get this game out of the way. First things first, we're going to look at stats. I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, 22 of 40, a touchdown and interception. He took 6 sacks for 25 total yards, ended with a 16.5 QBR and a 70.3 overall rating. Not great. With that amount of throws, I would have expected at least 4 to 5 more, 27, 28 to 40. I would have been really happy with that. It would have been over probably 300 yards, and they probably would have won this game. The running back that I was talking about was Jerome Ford. I believe he's a 5th-round pick out of Cincinnati. I'm right, 5th round, pick 156 out of Cincinnati, 24 years old, young. I love him. Chubb, I'm not going to put the video up. I'm not going to put any pictures. I would absolutely recommend, especially if you have children and they like sports, to keep them away from it. It was a very gruesome injury, in the vein of like Gordon Hayward. That's, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh shit. I cursed much worse than what I just said, but it was bad. I'm not happy for it. And again, he's only 27, so he has time, but just where the injury is, I'm not happy. Now, when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, though, I was really happy with Pickens, 4 for 127 and a tud. Jalen Warren looked all right. A lot of people are saying Warren's better than Harris on the running back side. I just don't see it. Obviously, Najee had 3 targets, only 1 catch for no yards, and then that 10 for 43. But I just think that the Steelers are so known as a defense and run-oriented team. They're obviously adjusting their scheme for Najee Harris. Sorry. Get me a text message. Amazing wife, shout out Shannon. Trying to buy a house, so she's sending me realtor stuff. Really cool. I'm very happy overall. The game went well. I did take Steelers plus 7.5 because why not? They obviously kept it in and was able to win the game. I also took Saints plus 7.5, so that was an easy win, no problem. Very happy with it overall. When I look at these teams, though, Pittsburgh is absolutely suffering from another wide receiver. There was the rumor that Antonio Brown might want to come back, and I'm not an Antonio Brown fan. I appreciate how good he was for your team, but that's not the solution. Defense played well on the Steelers side of the ball. Obviously, Minka laid that hit on Chubb, and I think he's going to be shaken up for it for a little bit. So expect Minka to kind of be a little weird the next few weeks. I think it's the T. Higgins effect when he hit DeMar Hamlin. T. Higgins hasn't necessarily been the same since. It's just kind of seemed weird. I'm not sure what it is. Obviously, I'm glad that DeMar Hamlin is okay. I'm hoping we get news soon that, Chubb is going to be all right and that it's going to be something he's going to be able to come back from. But if it's not, and his career's ended at 25 or 27, I'm sorry, I think this is the moment that we really need to have a conversation in the NFL about not only player safety, but more about player longevity. I understand that we're going to have people like Aaron Rodgers. You get people like Ben Roethlisberger. Tom Brady is the shining example of longevity in the sport, but he also plays a sport that doesn't necessarily take the hits. Running back does, which is why the NFL is slowly trying to lean away from those high-paid running backs and more go for the Jerome Fords, run them up before their contracts are over and then toss them away. But I do think there's going to be a few teams out there that look at that and look at the 28, 29-year-old Chubb, if he obviously didn't have his injury, coming off of it, and the Browns maybe not wanting to pay him, and you're like, hey, come play for me at 30. 30-year-old Nick Chubb is better than most of these players, so I don't see that really translating long term. But when it comes to both wide receiver cores, I don't believe in Amari Cooper. I've never believed in Amari Cooper, especially when he was a Cowboy. Njoku, I like. He's all right. The tight ends for overall, I'm pretty happy with. Freiermuth is having injury history so far to start the year. So I'm not happy about that. It's just kind of been lingering stupid stuff, soreness and this and that. But I think that's going to change here soon. Both of these teams are just in a weird division. I do think that obviously after this, especially with the loss of Chubb, the Ravens are going to win that division. That's all said and done. The Bengals might be able to squeak in for a 2, but I could see the Browns or Steelers beating the Bengals and the Bengals being 4 in this division. I think the loss of Chubb could also make the Browns the bottom in this division, and I think that if the Pittsburgh Steelers decide to stop running Najee, I think that's the same thing. They could absolutely be in 4th place. So, for that reason, among many, I am out on them. I'm out on both of these teams. I originally thought Pittsburgh could do it. A lot of the criticism is coming from Pickett, which had 15 of 30, 222 yards, a pick, an interception, 2 sacks for 22 yards, which is good. They protected him more. Only a 12.3 QBR, so lower QBR than Watson. Higher rating, though, 71.8, just barely 1.5 higher. I thought Pickett was fine. That 4 for -6 is not great on the rushes. But overall, I believe a lot in this division. I originally thought this could be a division where we get 3 winners, where we could get like a Browns, Ravens, Bengals, or a Steelers, Browns, Ravens, really get 3 out of here. But I don't think that's going to happen. Honestly, the Cowboys division, the East, is looking real nice, but we're going to see that here soon. Regardless, I'm going to move on to the bulk of why people are here, which is going to be my roast of the Carolina Panthers after this disgusting loss. I'm going to throw up the intermission thing real quick. We'll get right to it. This is Nick with roll coverage. See you in a second. After roll coverage, I'm your host, Nick. We're going to get into what everybody is here for, my Carolina Panthers sucking ass. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say that. They sucked ass. Overall, before I even get into stats or anything, I'm just going to tell you my thoughts on the game. I actually threw it up, watched it with my wife. I told everybody. I went on BS and Beers podcast. I had a few words with them where I told them I don't believe in my Carolina Panthers. I don't believe in the composition of the team. I don't believe that we are healthy. I don't believe that the wide receiver core is worth a damn. I'm sorry. And I also don't believe that the DB core is worth a damn. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a very outspoken critic. I've been an outspoken critic since before the season with these lofty dreams of my Carolina Panther friends basically saying, oh, yeah, man, you guys are going to win 8, 9 games. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are smoking, but I need some. I'm in Colorado. I got it literally right here. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's not enough weed that I can smoke to make me believe that the Panthers have even a shot of the playoffs. First of all, we started 0-2, and the statistic is that if you start 0-2, the chance of you making the playoffs is basically 0. But when it comes to this team, I'll start on my Panther side. I'm going to tear them apart. Actually, you know what? No. We're going to leave my Panther side for the second portion. We're going to start with the Saints. Saints, 21 of 36 on Carr. I was very surprised. I absolutely expected him to get a little bit more yards. He almost got my 300-yard parlay, which would have been awesome. Shout out BS and Beer. I took that bet where he'd be over 300. I lost. I'm going to have to chug a beer for y'all. Can't wait to come on and do that. But when it comes to Carr overall, 228, no touchdowns, a pick, 4 sacks, 29 yards, 37.8 QBR with a 65 rating. And then, of course, you have Taysom Hill come in there with his 1 throw, 8 yards. His QBR rating doesn't mean anything. So, running overall, I thought it was absolutely crazy that you guys were running. That you were running Taysom Hill, but I believe I missed the play where Williams went out because I thought Tony Jones Jr. was Jamal Williams for a minute. 2 touchdowns on him, 12 for 34. I honestly think that if Jamal Williams could have stayed in the game, he could have gotten those. He'd have been 22, 24 rushing attempts, would have had a bunch of touchdowns. It would have been great. When it comes to Your wide receiver core. I'm actually happy. I like Olave. I'm not an Ohio State fan. I've said that before. But Olave and Michael Thomas are just ridiculous. Especially with Michael Thomas back. If he can stay healthy this whole year, it's going to be amazing. I could absolutely see you guys going out and getting an older veteran off of like the waivers or whatnot, or just going to find somebody. The person that I always thought would make his comeback this year, and I'm surprised he hasn't signed with a team yet, is T.Y. Hilton. Still very, very, very good at his job. Let me make sure it's just not due to injury, that I didn't miss some news or something. Speaking of, shout out all my coffee drinkers, so make sure to drink it every morning. I'm not sure how you are, but I'm a chock full of nuts kind of guy when it comes to coffee. My grandpa got me on it years ago, so it's kind of crazy. He's 33, 5'10", 183. Like I said, I just love T.Y. Hilton. Loved him on the Colts and everything. I wish he could go somewhere and really show people what's up. But right now, I guess that's just not the time. Defense, though, you guys played amazing. If it wasn't for you guys basically just kind of giving us some things here and there, obviously the only way we stayed in this game is just everything, man. Like, you guys had a really good defense. Besides that really crazy catch towards the end of the game with Mingo, and then that last second touchdown with Thielen, the defense on the Saints side did well. I'm not sure how much you guys did in fantasy. Let's see. Do I have you guys in my fantasy? Which, shout out, if you guys don't know, out here on Roll Coverage, we do 50 fantasy leagues every year. In fact, with this one, I won 140.64 to 101.04. That was great. Let me check. The Saints defense. 9 points against Carolina, 12 against Tennessee, so not bad. 1 fumble recovery, 4 sacks, 17 points allowed. Yeah, I was happy with you guys. I honestly think that if we, meaning the Panthers, had a little bit more of a potency to the offense. I know a lot of people, which again I'll get to in a minute, are going after Frank Reich, but I just feel like this defense played well. The Saints are a well-coached team with great assets everywhere. I do love Taysom Hill, and I wish you guys would do more with him. I wish he would be more of a focused in not only your rushing game, which 9 of 35 was good, but I really believe that he could have been in there as like a double tight end set and really kind of thrown it off a little bit. I think you guys could have blown us out. Now, when it comes to my Carolina side, it's going to be very deceptive. People are going to go look at the Bryce Young stats. 22 of 33, 153, a touchdown, 4 sacks, 60 QBR, 87.1 rating. I'm not going to defend Bryce Young for his loss. What I am going to defend Bryce Young is he is the first quarterback taken off the board to a team that doesn't really have a great offensive line. I would say we have a good one. Listen, with the loss of Brady Christensen and a loss of so many people that we've had on the line, this is going to be another tank year. I really wish we would have had our pick right now. We could have traded up and gotten like an Anthony Richardson or something like that, but instead we went with Bryce. I think Bryce was the right option, but unfortunately our front office is letting us down. Now, this is going to go to my other video that I previously did. It came out yesterday. Today is the 19th. Came out yesterday before the game, which is, if we lost that game, we should absolutely fire Scott Fitterer. And now that we are 0-2, about to go 0-3, we need to fire Scott Fitterer. The front office needs to change. We have put a team around. Oh my God, my cats are chasing each other. We need to put a team together that is competent to win. Thielen, Chark, Terrace, Laviska is not a good enough wide receiver core. Now, I'm going to keep Mingo out of that because I think Mingo is the wide receiver 1, in my opinion. He's better than Thielen already. I'm really happy with this. When it comes to tight ends, I like Hurst. I like Thomas. I even like Tremble. Defense, I like stuff. I like Tuttle and Burns, which don't even get me on this whole Burns train. The man needs to be effing paid. This is freaking ridiculous. When it comes to cornerbacks, Webb and Horn out for multiple games. Mac McCain is on IR. Marquise Haynes is on IR. Henry Anderson's on IR. Brady Christensen is on IR. Austin Corbett is out. Like, what are we doing? who are we building this team for? Because we're not building the team to win in the division. We do not have top tier wide receiver talent. When you go look at Atlanta, they at least have Drake London. I think Drake London is a wide receiver one for that team. Obviously, he had a really crappy start of the season, but he's also playing with Desmond Ridder, so I'll give him some slack. Saints have Olave and Michael Thomas, two number one receivers. I mean, Thomas at this point is probably a wide receiver too, just due to his injury history, but they're very high competitive wide receivers. Then we go to the Bucks. Bucks got Evans and Godwin, top tier receivers. I would say ones, if not twos, high twos, if that. Actually, no, I would give Evans a 1. I give them both 1. Yeah. So we really don't have any way to compete. Now let's go to running back core. Bijan, who hasn't yet scored, I don't think, in the league yet. Interesting. Jamal Williams and good God, what's his name? Jamal Williams and Kamara. There we go. Alvin Kamara, which shows he should be back after week 4, I think. So that'll be good. And then the running back room for the Bucks is I almost want to call him Raheem Mostert, but it's not that. It's Rashid. It's not Saheed, is it? I definitely got that wrong. They have Chase Edmonds, Sean Tucker, Keyshawn Vaughn, Rashad White. That's it, Rashad White. So Miles Sanders is better than Rashad White or any of those running backs. So we have the 4th best wide receiver core in the division. We have the the last wide receiver core. We have the worst or third. Sorry, I'm not going to discredit Miles Sanders because I like him. I like Hubbard. I like Blackshear. I even like Tariq Cohen. None of them are truly wide receiver ones outside of Sanders. I think I was calling him Chuba Hubbard is a running back 2, and I think he should stay the 2. I don't think we should be out here getting Cohen and all these other ones. If we want depth, that's fine, but Hubbard's 2. Comes to quarterback, I would say Bryce is better than Ritter. He's not better than Carr. Him and Baker's probably better than him right now, as we currently stand. So we have the 3rd best quarterback in the division, the 4th best wide receiver core, the 3rd best running core. I would say defensive-wise, we're 2. No, I would say 3. I would say Saints or Bucks 1, and if not, whoever's not 1 is 2. Then us, then the Falcons are 4. So those are 4 major categories where we are just not it. And then you want to talk about secondary. C.J. Henderson, Troy Hill, Sam Webb, J.C. Horn, who's on IR. I'm going to pull up the other ones. Depth chart. Jeff Okuda, I really like. Trey Flowers, Clark Phillips, they're all right. All right. Quick. I'm checking ESPN because it's much easier to get to their depth charts actually in order for most of the time. Carlton Davis, D. Delaney, Josh Hayes. Okay, so I would say we're better than that. So we're right now 2 of 3. So the only one I need to check is going to be the Saints depth chart. Adam Warren. Okay, so we are 3. I'm going to put it up on screen now. Hopefully I can actually remember. And if I don't, sorry. But yeah, we are just overall just not there. Quarterback, bottom 3 or bottom 3, 4. Running back room, we're the 3rd best running back room. 4th best wide receiver core. 4th best secondary. We are not going to keep this up. And I mean, even staying close to people. This was one where we probably could have squeaked this out somehow if we didn't have the turnovers. I just don't think that anything's going to change because we're not getting separation with Thielen, with Mingo, with any of those. Mingo's getting his balls, don't get me wrong, and he's being successful with it. He was 8 targets of 3. Boy, that's not good. I know there's a few where he was overthrown or was thrown out of bounds and everything like that, but normally the 8 of 3, I would normally come out here and roast people. 8 targets, 3 catches, that's not a good night. 5 of 5 for Hubbard, I like that, but obviously they're going to be shorter passes. Thielen was 7 of 9. Hayden Hurst was 3 of 3. But the only one that had a bad receiving night was Mingo, and I'm going to give him a pass for that. He's the only one on our team that can really get separation and get anything going. And until we are actually able to add more wide receiver talent, we're going to suck in that area. Again, I'm going to continue to say this and scream it from the top of the rooftops. We need to pay Brian Burns. If we trade it, that Scott Fitterer absolutely needs to be fired the same fucking day. I'm sorry, I'm going to curse there. Same day he needs to go. So if you're a Carolina fan, tell me your thoughts. I could come on here and just go after them. I liked the Von Bell interception. I thought he was a great acquisition. But I think that's pretty much it. On the defensive side, we just need to pay some people. Luvu had himself a game, by the way. Derek Brown was good. Chin is he's getting burned, so that might be something to start looking at. I like Gross Matos, Tuttle, Burns. I like everybody. But I think we need a change, and that change needs to come from the front office. We need a new leadership in there. We need somebody who knows what's up. We need somebody who's ready to win now, who's ready to take stuff over. And I don't know who that GM is. Let me see. If there's like a, you know what? I agree. We should get a, somebody posted this on Twitter. I'll see if I can find it and post it up. But I think we do need to get to the point where we need to get more black GMs in there, especially Carolina. I think that we could really bring some people over there. A lot of people are talking about offensive play caller for us. They wanted to switch to him. I could obviously see us bringing somebody, again, promoting them within our ranks and keeping them that way. So for that reason, I'm gonna keep, siding with my team at least, but I'm not gonna bet for them. I have a pure rule, which is do not bet for a team that you support. Did win a decent amount of money though, not gonna lie. Shout out DraftKings. Was able to do some drive bets, and besides the two turnovers in a row, I literally would have been a bunch. But regardless, I still did have made a decent penny. When it comes to the next week, Seattle, that's a W for Seattle, so we're going to lose that. That's at Seattle as well. I think we might be able to compete week 8, 9, 10, and that's it. Because the rest of the schedule, to be honest, at our current thing, 3 losses with Seattle, 4 with Minnesota, 5 with the Lions, 6 with Miami. So we're 0-6 going into the bye. I think we can end up beating Houston, but then I think this could also be time where CJ Stroud finally puts it all together and he comes out there and smokes us. So I could absolutely see that. And speaking of, if you were following any of my fantasy advice, I said for you to go look out for Nico Collins, who had himself a day. So keep that out. Same thing with Jalen Hyatt. Shout out Jalen. We have been pounding the desk for him. And I have Jalen Hyatt for the Giants is going to be amazing. So with all of that, I'm going to move on. Going to record the next video for the day. But I want everybody to have a great day. One of my Panthers fans, if you really like the video, please share it. I'm just trying to get my name out there. Again, this is Nick with Roll Coverage. Putting out videos for a bunch of different sports, just kind of trying to find time. I am an MBA student, so I'm finishing up my MBA in international finance. So with all that, I leave you guys with a beautiful, beautiful day. Hopefully everybody enjoys it. I'm going to go and take the dog for a walk and then go watch some more highlights. Maybe watch the All 22. So this is Nick with Roll Coverage. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.